this rage inside of me that I just can't wait to unleash. I'm invincible, I'm unstoppable.
Hello and welcome to the Body Spartan podcast. I always forget how you do it. It's always like blah, 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 blah.
You ready for it?
Blah, blah.
You ready for it?
Okay, you say it first and then I want to say it. I really want to try it.
You want to hear it?
But then let me try it.
This is how it goes.
Okay, let's see.
3, 2, 1. And all right, everybody. Hi, and welcome to the official Body Spartan podcast. My name is Gabe Tuft. I'm the founder of Body Spartan and your host for the next hour. Tonight, I am joined by my lovely wife and co-founder.
Who could top that intro? First Lady of Body Spartan, Priscilla Tuft.
There we go. See? You just gotta put a little into your shit.
Why are you so good looking?
It's
truthfully unreasonable.
Wow, am I blushing? I don't know. I might be blushing.
A little bit. I can't tell. It's kind of hot in here.
Teeny
What
tiny
was it,
bit.
95 today in Northern California? I'm like, what's going on
Yeah,
here?
and it's supposed to be 103 this weekend, too. It's going to be crazy.
It's supposed to be 103 tomorrow. Oh, no, I'm sorry. 103 tomorrow, 102 the day after. I am going to spend the day on the beach.
Well, that sounds like fun. I'll be here working.
When they call it homeschool in California, really it's beach school. I'm like, what log would you like to sit on to complete your math problems, darling?
Yep.
I love this city. I love this state.
You know what I won't be doing? I won't be riding my R1 this week because it's back in the shop again due to a tune gone bad. I wrote it. The funny
That's
thing
why
is,
you don't get your bike worked on during Mercury retrograde.
Here we go. Why don't you explain what Mercury retrograde is?
It's when basically I don't have a good definition for it.
Something about planets alignment and Mercury
And
coming into
it
alignment.
looks like it's going backwards, but really it's not. And then it realigns and it looks like it's going forward. For some reason, like every computer goes crazy. It's the worst time ever to buy
Mostly
anything.
electronics go nuts, right?
Electronics go nuts.
Yeah.
People go nuts. For me, it's a time of heightened spiritual awareness. It's really cool. Like I go and I sit down and I meditate and I see crazy colors. I feel crazy things. I see visions. Like it's an awesome time spiritually, but everything else is haywire. Like people are going crazy. People are confused, but it's also like a time of awakening where the scales are kind of coming away from your eyes. But as far as electronics, it's hate in life. Like every computer system, awful. If you launch a product, usually it's a debacle and you have to go back and rethink it and rework it.
You know what?
Horrible time for contracts.
You know what? I don't believe in that shit. I believe I'm in control.
Tell us how the Harley went when you bought that during retrograde.
It's a Harley. It falls apart. That's what they do.
Tell us how the Gabe,
I didn't buy the R1 during retrograde.
What was going on with the Harley a week after you bought it?
Okay, so when I bought the Hog last August is when I bought the Hog. It's just, if you guys haven't seen it, it's a sick 2016 Softail breakout with a fat 240 tire on the back.
So much fun.
A lot of chrome on that bitch. It's got these upgraded, they call them Cyclone turbine wheels or something like that. So the rims are just
You look at me like I know. I'm like, I don't know. It's just loud.
Beautiful. There's like, 50 thick spokes on each one, and they're deep dish. It's just a thing of beauty. Anyway, so I buy it, and I'm riding around, and the brakes start just going every time I go to stop. And I'm like, well, that sucks.
That
I'm like,
can't be right.
I'm 300 miles and past the braking period, so I take it back. I'm like, hey guys, and they were cool. I'm always cool to people that I buy stuff from, and
You're cool to everyone anyways.
I try. And I go, look, dude, I'm like, can you guys check this out, man? I'm like, it kind of sucks. I'm like, I just bought this really nice bike and it makes all these sounds. And like, people are looking at me, but they're looking at me for the wrong reason. It's like when Howard was in Seattle with us and the Ferrari kept squealing. The brakes were like,
It's like this gorgeous car. And he's like, I just can't stop because it's the worst.
I mean, it was loud. Like we were
But
two
the way
cars
he
ahead. And
explains it, like
I could
you
hear
just
it.
pee laughing so hard. What was he explaining it? He's like,
oh, dude, look at that guy with the Ferrari. Oh, but he can't even afford to fix the brakes. That would a fucking dumbass poser.
yeah, but he'll just like go off and he'll give you like 30,000 analogies
so
and metaphors, and we just like laugh so
the
hard.
most bitter guy to ever drive a Ferrari.
I'm like, dude, millennial problems. I'm like, quit whining about your vehicle.
Well, so back to the Hog.
And you're welcome.
Back to the Hog. Back to the Hog. Back to the Hog. And I'm referring to the motorcycle, of course. But I'm not even a remote glimmer of eyebrow up from the wife. Okay, so back to the Hog. I took it back to the Harley shop, and they looked at it, and they go, hey, look, dude. They called me over, and they're like, hey, man, did you ever hear any weird, like, knocking coming from your primary casing? I was like, yeah, but you know what, dude? I've never had a Hog, and I just figured that's, they're noisy. It's the sound they make. They go, yeah, here, come check this out. And basically what had happened is apparently on factory day when they were putting the bike together, somebody forgot to have their cup of coffee and they forgot to put in this wedge and tensioner. It's what keeps the chain tight on the transmission. So basically the chain was knocking around inside. Like literally they go, I've never seen anything like
you
this.
had one job.
It was so bad. Like nothing happened. They're like, you never skipped a chain. You never skipped a link. There's no damage. You can look and like there was no damage.
But how scary
They didn't even
is
write
that?
it up. They didn't want the factory to know. They didn't even write the fucking thing up. They
I
just,
can't believe they didn't. How much
they
did you
fixed
spend
it.
on that bike?
But by the time all the upgrades were done,
Yeah.
I'm in at $30,000.
And yet the chain wasn't attached. Like,
Yeah.
okay.
Well, and then the brakes every time they replace the brakes, I bring them in about every 500 miles. Like, fix them. I've had 3 or 4 pairs of front discs put on that thing and they still squeal. It's going back. As soon as the R1 comes back, the hog is going back in.
Then the new sink we got for our residential Body Spartan kitchen, the one we use on our cooking show, for the elite members section, the Body Spartan Army. Well, you guys, like this thing has detached and it's like leaking like a river underneath the, what is that thing called?
Just
Sink.
get to it. Did we put it in retrograde?
We absolutely did.
Okay, well, whatever. I still don't believe in this shit. It probably would have fallen apart anyway.
Exactly.
Brandon, what do you think? Oh, wait, Brandon's not here. You know why Brandon's not here? Because there's like 40 fires in Northern California right now, and he's out saving kittens out of trees, so he couldn't be here.
That was a lot, though. You showed me how many fires were there. I'm like,
Yeah, he actually sent me a map today. Well, his like CAL FIRE map that he gets on his app that only the firefighters get. Like, I'm not kidding, guys. There were like 30 or 40 fires throughout Northern California. So it's smoky up here. It's crazy.
And
he's
as the
out
sun
saving
was
lives.
setting, it was like red and pink up in the sky. And we were out there playing. I was out there with Mia, and the sky was just like smoke, like billows of smoke. I'm like, where is this fire coming from?
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy. California gets that. Is that every state or just California?
Well,
'Cause when
anytime
we were in
there's a
SoCal,
fire,
same thing happened.
yeah, I remember one time it was raining ash when I was out there surfing. There were these
Yes.
major fires up in the Inland Empire, and it was just literally, I could see the ash on my surfboard. It was really creepy. But okay, guys, well, tonight we're going to be talking about how to live in peace around negative energy. And this is one of those things that you'll want to experience because it's part of leveling up in life. It's something that we had to learn how to do.
You know what, Gabe? I don't even have time for this conversation.
No, fuck this. I'm leaving. I'm out.
Okay, you guys feel that? That's negative energy.
Okay, I'm back.
That person that's just bratty, or that guy that's a jerk. It could be a family member. Usually it's family that sets you off the most. The mother with the snide remark that just humph and walks away in the middle of you talking about whatever. You know, like whatever it is, everybody has a person that creates negative energy in your life. And guess what? You can still live in a peaceful state.
You know where you'll never find negative energy? Shameless plug in 3, 2. In the Spartan Army. I had to.
Oh my goodness.
I'm just going to go ahead and do it real quick, guys. The Spartan Army is our rebranded elite section. It's our member section. You get all this incredible shit to keep you positive all week and keep you going on your fitness journey and progressing and actually seeing results. You get a workout video and tabular workout every single week posted only to the Spartan Army Training Center. You get a recipe for shredding and bulking. We show you how to cook in our own kitchen. We're taping the whole thing. You get a pro fitness tip with all of our insider secrets on how to maximize your time in the gym. Everything from meal prep to supplements to do this tweak when you do a bicep curl, do that tweak when you're using the bench press.
And my favorite part,
Motivation.
motivation.
Well, and you get the video call. Once a week, we do a live video call where Priscilla, myself, Brandon, or Howard will sit down in front of a webcam and we will talk to you guys directly and you can have one-on-one time with us. So we'll present something positive to you guys that's going to be helpful for your fitness journey or just your journey in life. And then after that 20-30 minutes is up, we open it up to Q&A. We can have up to 100 people on the call. There is a replay available in the training center afterwards. So if you don't get a seat in time, you can watch it. But if you do get a seat, you reserve your seat. We literally bring your webcam up in front of everybody. You can talk to us. And, you know, if you don't want to be seen, you don't have to turn your webcam on. But we got your audio. You can talk directly to us. We answer every single fucking question.
I think that is my favorite part.
Yeah, I love interacting with our
being a co-founder
Spartan
of
Army
this
members.
business. Like this, I mean, I do love traveling. I do love seeing fans. Really, it's the interaction with you guys that makes me just freak out in excitement. But the Zoom calls are probably my favorite part because community and family is what we're all about. And this is our chance to talk to you guys face to face. And the Spartan family is extended to the Spartan Army. And I mean, all of you guys are family, but the Spartan Army are the elite of those that have decided to really take their fitness to the next level and impact their lives and the lives of others.
Yeah,
So
we've got
cool.
some good
It's pretty
questions.
fun.
So what we do, guys, is we offer a 30-day free trial for this, and you can experience, because I want you guys to understand what you're getting before you pay for anything. I want you to see the value in it. I want you to understand how much time and effort we put into this and the quality of the products that we put out for you. And the weekly production that we do is immense. And we don't put this much effort into anything else. It's literally the Spartan Army gets the most of our attention every single week. So it's a 30-day free trial. You guys go check it out. It's bodyspartan.com/Spartan Army. Bodyspartan.com.
And that is 30 days for free.
Spartan Army.
Oh, sorry, honey.
Cut me off, motherfucker.
So 30 days free. And if after 30 days you don't completely love it, then you're not getting a Tough Family Christmas card.
That's right.
Hashtag Tough Family Christmas card.
And
You don't
our
want to
Christmas
miss
cards
that.
are awesome.
They're incredible. And I just feel like it's going to deeply impact your life and maybe be the best thing that's ever happened to you ever.
Could
So,
very well be.
yeah.
Yep, definitely.
Why did the monitors go off when I said that?
That was really. Did you notice the lights kind of dimmed a little too?
The lights dimmed and the computer monitors went
That
off
was
like
really
that.
strange.
I know.
Okay.
And I feel like everybody should get a Christmas card.
I'm a little worried.
No.
All right. So, speaking of negative energy, so what Priscilla's getting at with the negative energy is that we are typically surrounded. Not always. I mean, if we're at certain places in our lives, we may have made some adjustments. But for the average person out there that's just getting on their feet and just starting to level up in life and realizing that there is more to life than what they're experiencing, at this point in time, you're probably surrounded by a lot of negativity.
We call them poopy people. Are you surrounded by poopy people?
Oh, no. I call them
I see poopy
pants people.
Poopy pants
Yep.
people. Negative Nancy's.
That's what your mom used to say.
That's what
Negative
Howard
Nancy.
says.
Well, and the idea here is trying to live in peace and harmony and stay positive amongst all the negativity. So the question is, well, why do we want to do that? Why do we want to live in peace and harmony? And why do we want to be positive? Well, we've talked about this on several podcasts before. The goal in life is to stay positive and to be happy. I truly believe, and I know Priscilla believes this too, that everyone is seeking the same thing in life. It doesn't matter what you're doing. The goal is happiness. And what makes one person happy can vary greatly from what makes the other person happy or many other people happy. But the point is, everybody wants to just be happy.
And whatever it is that you're wanting in your life, that's not really what you want. What you really want is the way that you feel in the accomplishment of that thing. You want to desire accomplishment. You want to desire happiness. And in order to get on that vibration, you have to understand that you are in control of what comes into your ears and mind. That changes and creates who you are and how you feel. Every single thing that goes into your ears and through your eyes creates a deposit in your brain that stays there and begins to create the kind of person you are and create the way that you think. For example, television. We have gone off on that many times.
Yeah.
Social media. Do you have
Let me back
people-
up on before you dive bomb into TV. Let me explain why we even would mention TV and social media in the first place. One of the things that I try to do when people ask me, how do I stay in a positive state amongst all the negativity, is the first thing that I try to tell them is like, well, you got to control what comes into your ears. You got to control what you're exposed to. And the thing that is the most negative that people are exposed to on a daily basis around the world is television. It is a
It's the boob
fear-based
tube. Do you remember somebody calling it like that when you were a kid, like boob tube?
Well, Jack Johnson actually says that in one of his songs too. It's really funny.
Does he?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But TV is a way of conditioning people to live in fear, and it leaves them in wanting reality shows. Well, they're the biggest thing on television right now. They are pre-produced, scripted drama. If you guys, my parents, I love them to death, but I think they believe that reality shows are real and that stuff isn't scripted. And coming from WWE, and understanding that everything is scripted on every single fucking television show. And don't get me wrong, some things are on the fly. Like they'll have bullet points and they'll put people in situations and tell them like, okay, just, be real, but they'll put them in very precarious situations.
Oh my
and
gosh!
let it
I
fly.
talked to this Uber driver the other day. We weren't in Seattle because we didn't use Uber, did we?
Yeah, we did.
Okay, I
was Seattle.
can't remember what Uber I was in, but they were saying that, and I'm so sorry, I don't know the names of these shows. Bachelor was one of them, but there's like a female Bachelor or something
I
like
don't know.
that.
I don't watch TV, so
Bachelorette.
we don't watch TV.
I'm so sorry for not knowing. Only wait a minute. Hold on. Just kidding. Not sorry. But I was like, oh, was that cool for you? He's like, yeah, I drove this person around. And I'm like, oh, was that cool? And they're like, not really. I'm like, oh, why not? Was she nice? Was it cool? Oh yeah, no, she was totally sweet. The problem is, they wouldn't let her out of the car until she cried. They were filming her the whole time, continuing to banter on.
Oh, he was driving the camera crew and her as part of the reality, not just chauffeuring or driving a reality show star, but the entire crew was there filming.
Right. I guess there was someone in the passenger seat filming this girl and a guy, or I don't know what was going on. And I thought that would be a really cool experience for him. And he's like, no, she had to cry in order to get out of the car. They told me, do not stop the car until she starts crying. And he ended up driving her around for 4 hours because she was like such a positive, beautiful person. And so it's like, not all of it is scripted, but if you have to drive around 4 hours to get somebody to cry,
I mean, it's not scripted line for line, but it is scripted in a way that produces very specific emotions and drama, because the American people and most of the world feeds off drama. We are conditioned.
I mean, it's no fun without an antagonist, right?
Well, every good story has an antagonist and a protagonist, and the antagonist is the hero, the protagonist is the villain. That's how they go.
Twist.
What a twist, as every M. Night Shyamalan film has. The point is, it's all scripted, and it's all conditioning you to live in drama and go, oh my gosh, I can't believe that happened. Let me talk to my friend about this, who also watches this show. Can you believe that motherfucker did this? Dude, Jersey Shore was another good one. I mean, the same thing. It was just so drama-filled that everybody ate that shit up. So we're conditioned to live with negative emotions. We're conditioned because of this very specific frame rate of television that puts us in a vegetative fucking state to watch and absorb and just be sucked into this world where we go, oh yeah, we're going to live in this world. And when we cut the power, we turn off, we're going to go talk about it on social media. We're going to talk about it with our friends. We're going to tweet about it, and we're going to go talk about it the next day with somebody else.
And quite honestly, like, think about how blatant it is. They call it a program, a television program. You are being programmed. Like, it is so blatant that I'm just like, oh my gosh. So if you want to go get some programming, you know where to find it.
If you want to have your brain reprogrammed,
shut off the TV or be a boob.
I like boobs. But awkward.
So,
and speaking of the other thing too, social media is another one. So if we're controlling the things that come in and out of our brains, and we're just talking about when people are done watching TV, they always go post about it. I mean, I can't tell you how many Game of Thrones posts I've seen in the last 2 weeks. Like, people just, blown away by all this shit. And I've never seen an episode of Game of Thrones. I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to say it right now. I'm sorry. I have never seen an episode. And I probably never will, because I have better ways to spend my time. Not that I'm knocking you guys for doing it. I'm just saying, if you want to progress, it's time to turn the TV off. And be careful with social media. Did I mention this on another? I mentioned this a lot, but...
And it not to sound like holier than thou, because it is so hard to stop any addiction. And television is an addiction. And so if this is something that's a part of your life, please understand.
Proven in studies to be as addicting as heroin.
And we understand how hard it is to get off television.
Heroin.
There you go.
I
just wanted to say that because I know that you do not look down on anybody who watches TV. You just want to pull them up and you wish for something better for their lives.
So yeah, I like that. I like that outlook. That's why you're so damn positive.
I know your heart. I'm just here to make sure that you don't sound like a boob.
So living in peace around negative energy. So if you can start controlling it, and you start controlling the social media aspect of it too, look at what's in your feed. And here's what I do. I look at what's in my Facebook feed, because I check Facebook, a couple times a day for business purposes, and just to see what my friends are doing, what I'm eating or whatever. I need a break from whatever. I'll scroll through the feed, and as soon as I see some negative shit, I'm like, do I know this person personally? Have I shook their hand? Have I looked them in the eye? Have I talked to them? Have I gone out for a drink? No. Okay. Unfollowed or unfriended. I'm like, I'm sorry, guys. social media. Oh, I have talked about this because I said the same thing. Social media is just not real life. They're not really your friend. And they're definitely not your friend if they're just posting shit on the feed.
And I have had a very, very different experience. But
I know
you
go
ahead. Because
I'm quick.
I have some things I'll share too.
Yeah. So Priscilla and I, absolutely. You have a different.
We're peanut butter and jelly. This is how we work.
And it's good because it's two completely different viewpoints that get the same. It's like path A and path B, and it's all going to point C. Like it's two ways to get to the same spot.
Maybe we're the pieces of bread. And the peanut butter and jelly is what's between us.
It's peanut butter jelly time.
Hey, hey, hey.
Oh, I think of Brian Griffith in the banana outfit shaking.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Insert mental image here.
So Priscilla's way more lenient than I am. But if I see it, I'm just like, dude, I don't know you. Like, honestly, I'll go through. So when I do my friend request, I literally go through, I just hit confirm as many times as I can in a sitting to add people so that they can experience what I have to share with them and hopefully change their lives. But if they're posting negative shit, dude, instantly unfollowed. And if it's really negative, instantly unfriended. I'm like, I don't need that shit in my life. I want my feed to be full of other things that are positive. I don't need to be bitching about, what happened in this place or that place and who's burning down what city and fuck these guys and fuck those guys and just general whining. I'm like, I don't want that.
You know
I want to be
phrase, like you are what you eat. Literally everything that you put into your brain is food. And it is creating you to be who you are. And my dad always used to say, garbage in, garbage out. And I'm like, what does that mean? Well, when you're putting garbage social media and garbage television into your mind, and you guys, the music that you're listening to. Gabe and I have talked about the water studies. And I don't mean to be jumping all over the place, but every single thing that goes into your eyes and into your ears is changing the way that your brain processes the world around it. Another huge important thing is understanding that. Why are you looking at me like that?
I wanted to say one more thing about social media. Yeah, I know it kind of came to me because I'm trying to think scientifically about this. Well, we were talking about the addiction for television, and social media is an addiction because it provides instant gratification. So you post something and you instantly check for likes on Instagram or likes on Facebook or comments on it. And as soon as you get one, your brain is like, cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. I mean, they did studies where like literally certain parts of your brain will light up under, not an EKG, what do they call it? Maybe it is EKG or EEGs.
Oh, yes, yes.
Where your brain just is like, boop. It's like, oh, yeah, I like that. I like that. And it's so much of an addiction that there is a marketing term called TTD, time to device. And that is the time it takes for someone to wake up in the morning when they first open their eyes and reach for their device. How long does it take you? What is your time to device? And I want you guys to think about this.
Oh, that's a really good
Other
test.
than, you might use it for an alarm, which is okay. But when you actually pick up your phone and you begin to use it for email or social media, or some other game or app or anything else that you do aside from turning your alarm off, I want you to measure your time to device and see how long it takes you to reach for that fucking thing and become sucked into whatever's going on. Because other things too, when you wake up in the morning, priming. Tony Robbins talks about priming. I know we're going to get a little off tangent here, but spend 10 minutes a day setting your intention, setting your vibration for the day. And if you are setting it in a way where you pick up your device and you see negative stuff, you're already priming your day to be negative. If you do something like meditate, you go outside, you run, you do your cardio, you don't touch your device.
We talk a lot about thinking about the reasons that you're grateful.
Yes.
Before you even open up your eyes, if you can think of one thing and just bask in that freaking moment.
Or if you are going to reach for that device first thing, I would say put something positive in your ears. Speaking of Tony Robbins, we've got a list of guys here. We call it personal development. We've talked about it before. Spending time in I'm sure this is where you were going next with personal development, right?
I was still kind of back on social media.
I'm so wrong. Sorry.
There is but again, maybe that should be a podcast in and of itself. The only other thing I was going to say about social media is I am a lot more sensitive to the negativity because I do keep myself much more guarded. I have my assistant do a rigorous investigation on each person that does that wants to be my friend because I have to delete somebody to add them. And this is on my personal Facebook. And I never scroll the feed, not ever. What I do is I go intentionally and check in on specific people and have her check in on specific people so that I'm regularly checking up and filtering what goes into my mind. Because what's that phrase? Like, I can't unsee that. Like, there are so many things.
That cannot be unseen.
There are so many things that I see. And what it feels like is eyeball rape. Like
eyeball rape. Oh.
I always think that. I don't know where it comes from.
Who said that?
It's like I don't know. It's like highway robbery. I'm like, you
Eyeball
just
and
took
ear
my
raping.
happy, you jerk. And it's like a picture of like an abused animal, and I want to punch a wall. I don't know why. That's like the one thing that makes me angry.
I can't stand that either.
Or, you know, I'm not even going to say the negative things that come up. Or I just feel deep sadness for somebody's emotional state. And I'm an empath. I feel deep sorrow for people that are going through a hard time. That's not where I want myself. I want myself in a state of love and compassion towards others. So going in intentionally to people that I know or people that I'm talking to, because I do create relationships on social media and I do build relationships on social media. You know why I go on Facebook? I go on Facebook for one purpose: to serve. And everything that comes out of my mouth, every picture that I post, every word that I say is for the greater good and for raising vibration of those around me, so it can be a powerful tool to inspire, lead, and motivate those around you.
Ooh.
So personal development.
I see what you did there.
I know this is like our favorite topic. We don't mean to sound like a broken record, but what goes in will come out. So replace all that garbage with something that's going to cause you to grow.
Spend some time every day plugging in. If you're going to use this device or your device, plug in. You know, instead of TV, look up YouTube. I mean, we got so many videos, so many millions of hours of YouTube videos and quality stuff out there. You just have to look for it.
Save our podcast.
And you don't
Listen
have
to it. Each new download.
Here's what happens with me. When I started doing this, YouTube has an algorithm where basically when you start searching for things and you start watching things in your home feed, it will start pulling up things that are very similar. So now my entire feed is filled with all these motivational things. So I don't have to go look up, you know, just Tony Robbins stuff, which I do all the time. But here's what I'm getting at is I'm going to give you a couple names to start with, guys. So Tony Robbins, Vishen Lakhiani, Vishen Lakhiani, L-I-K. I actually don't remember how to spell his whole name, but if you start putting that into Google, it'll pop up. C.T. Fletcher, another one of my biggest avatars. I had a chance to work out with him and his crew. We brought the whole Body Spartan crew down there. It was amazingly inspiring. The guy is amazing. Kai Green, number 2 contender in the world for Mr. Olympia for like 5 years. You want to talk about humble and inspirational? He's amazing. Gary Vaynerchuk, aka Gary V. If you have not listened to Gary V, start listening to Gary V. Plug him in daily. He is a business entrepreneur, runs multiple businesses. The guy is a workhorse, and he will tell it straight like it is. And he cares. He cares about everyone that listens, everyone that wants to make a difference.
And
so
just
those are my top 5.
And just a little peanut butter for his jelly. I'm also a massive Tony Robbins and Vishen Lakhiani fan, but I also love Chalene Johnson for up and coming social media advice, business advice. I love Bob Proctor when it comes to learning about vibration. And one of the biggest things that I love to listen to, audiobooks.
Oh, yeah. I love how you say, oh, I'm reading this book. But you're not reading the book. You're listening to it.
Well, sometimes I do. But most of the time,
90% of the time you're listening to a book on audio, which is the same thing pretty much.
And the reason is because I have it plugged in when I'm doing dishes, when I'm doing laundry, when I'm every second that I get, really. I've got it playing
pretty much whenever you're not handling Mia or doing something for
it's
a
like
Body
she's
Spartan.
a tiger, like I'm a Mia handler.
Well, you know what I mean.
Down, boy. I'm listening to my personal development.
Yeah, you know, you're
I'm a toddler handler.
I have my Dr. Evil quotes. You're reading your book as you do dishes. So guys, just anytime Priscilla says, "Oh, I read this book," 90% of the time it was audio, and there's nothing wrong with it. You are absorbing the information very similarly as if you were reading it. You still digest it, and it's a great way to basically capitalize on the time that you may or may not have. So if you're trying to spend 20 minutes doing your daily personal development, grab a book, man. Grab an audiobook. Take the time to download it. And a lot of these guys have audios. Tony Robbins has audio,
and
dude.
guess what? If you're like me and you listen to podcasts, you can hit the 2 times or the 1.5 times mark on the left of the podcast, and you get to listen to it really fast.
Wait, you
So
listen to
get
podcasts and
Yes.
audiobooks in double time?
Oh, yes. And I can. It took
Does
me
it
a while.
sound like a chipmunk?
Sometimes, yes. It depends on who you're listening to. Like Shalene Johnson, it's always 1.5. If you listen to me double time, you will never survive. But because I talk really fast, anyways. But that's what I'll do. And then, like audiobooks, a lot of the times you can do the same thing. I love Audible, and YouTube is really great too.
You know, I've never used Audible.
What?
Yeah.
It's the bomb.
I don't know.
.com.
Well, okay. All right. Well, that was, number one for how to live in peace around negative energy is first, start controlling what comes into your ears and into your mind. So number two, well, actually, we've got which way you want to go with this, Priscilla? Because I could do, here, let's go this way. See that the other person is you.
Okay. So New Year's resolution 2-3 years ago, I said, I'm going to set the goal. See that the other person is me. Because for some reason, I would get so locked down by blaming people, by being frustrated with other people's behavior. Why do they do this? And when I started looking into that person's eyes and saying, how is this person me? And trying to understand where they're coming from, I had a deep sense of compassion and love well up in me. And it gave me the capacity to freaking cool it.
It's so the old walk a mile in somebody else's shoes.
Ooh, yes.
Because you never know what's going on. And a lot of times we jump to conclusions, I remember I used to experience severe road rage when I was younger. And even, I didn't really go away till we moved to Tampa when I started wrestling. And I was on the road all the time because my parents, they wouldn't road rage, but they would be the people that talk to other cars, even though they can't hear them.
Or flip them off without the middle finger.
Oh, my mom gives like the gesture, like, I forgot about that. Or just do things to aggravate other drivers. So I picked up on that and I thought that was the way things were done. And then I would ride with friends that would do the exact same thing because their parents probably did it. And I was an angry, aggressive driver. And I would just be like, what the fuck you doing, man? Get the fuck out of my way. Come on, motherfucker. But in reality, when you calm the fuck down and you go, okay, does this really actually matter right now? No. But let's think about this. Say somebody is speeding by you or they cut you off on the road. Because I was a victim of road rage. Not victim, but I raged. Like I said, I started thinking, I wonder what that person's going through right now. What put them in that mode? Are they late for work? Do they have a hard morning? Are they the kind of person that's been trying for a year to wake up 10 minutes early and they are just having trouble to do that so they don't have to rush to work every day? Or do they just maybe they got bad habits in the morning or habits that make them rush and they have to leave at the last minute. Or maybe they got 5 kids and one of the kids shit all over the fucking house because the diaper leaked. I've been there. I know what that's like. And maybe now they're rushing off to work because they don't want to get fired.
It's like you just don't know where somebody is coming from when they leave their vehicle or leave in their vehicle in the morning. And, it goes so much deeper than that. We used to always say, oh, that car just cut me off. The car did not cut you off, you guys. There's a human being in a car.
Oh, yeah. We stop personifying that. We turn it into an object. We forget that is a person, a human being driving that vehicle, and it becomes a thing. We objectify. Not personify. We objectify.
Depersonify.
We depersonify and we objectify what's happening. And we go,
and it's
that car just cut me off.
Seriously, we have all done that. But when we stopped doing that and we started to realize, oh, that is a human being. And that human being's life is just as precious as any other human being's life because it's life.
Yeah. That human being has feelings. It has emotions.
It has a mother.
Feels pain.
Has a son.
That is somebody's daughter or son. Mm-hmm. Somebody's dad or
and
mom.
Driving around with a child, oh my gosh, that'll change. The words that come out of our mouths, you guys, are creating their worldviews. I don't care if you're driving your niece or nephew around, or if you're a babysitter, or if you've got a child that you dearly love that's in the back seat. Every word that's coming out of your mouth is creating their rules for living and their rules for life.
Okay, I have to tell a quick story, and it's very interesting about how this world, I say the world, I just objectified. So how people view you. So we've got a Range Rover for the business. We got a 2017 Range Rover Sport that we drive. And usually one of us is driving us. We work from home, so we don't need to go anywhere. We've got 2 cars, 2 motorcycles. The other car is a Ford Fusion. And it's like if we're going to go on a long trip, we take the Ford Fusion. Or if we just need a backup car, we go. Well, this morning, Priscilla was out running errands, and I decided to take Mia, my daughter, my 5-year-old daughter, down to Toys R Us to get a brand new car seat because hers was just old and beat up, and it was like leaning sideways in the car. I couldn't get it around. I'm like, you know what, sweetheart? Oh, I had taken her to breakfast too. Beautiful morning. I went down to Marvin's Cafe. We had pancakes and eggs, and we colored, and no screen time. It was great. It was daddy-daughter time. And I'm like, you know what, baby? Let's go get you a new car seat. I'm gonna go spend $140. These things are fucking expensive. And I'm getting on the freeway, and there's a stoplight, so I stop and I wait, and then I start going, and like I'm driving the Ford Fusion, and as I'm getting on the freeway, I notice this guy like kind of sort of tailgating me, but not so much. He pulls into. He turns or merges. Sorry, that's the word I'm looking for. I can't talk. He merges before you're supposed to merge. I'm like, okay. And we're all still getting up to speed. I'm not slow poking it. I'm not driving fast. I got my kid in my car. And it's officially time to merge. So I put on my blinker and I come over. And the guy's like 2 car lengths behind me, but he's starting to speed up. And then there's the middle lane and the fast lane and the carpool lane. Well, he just lays on his horn a car length and a half behind me and flips me off. And I'm like, bro. Well, first of all, the first thing that goes through my head is like, yo, motherfucker, do you know who you're flipping off? You probably can't see what's behind this car. And then I go, all right, I have my daughter in the car. And I'm driving the Ford Fusion. And I'm making 2 points at once, because had I been driving the Rover, for some crazy reason, people make the connection that they don't do that when do you get treated differently in the Rover than you do when you drive the Fusion?
I don't even notice.
I remember you said that you did at one point. You actually specifically said, depending on the car, remember the old Toyota Corolla or the Nissan Maxima, the old beat up like 80 something Maxima.
Oh yeah, when we upgraded, I did notice that. Yeah,
you were treated differently. People tend. So I was driving the Fusion, and I just wanted to make that point. I don't really know where I'm going with it, but I wanted to make the point because we're talking about how to live in peace among negativity.
You were talking about the impression that we leave with our child.
Well, that too. So I had a choice. I was like, do I get angry? And do I slam on the brakes? Do I brake check this guy? And I just thought, you know what? Mia has no idea what's happening. I'm the only one that knows what's happening. Do I care? I'm like, nah. I'm like, this guy is probably, and he's in a little beat up car. And I'm like, he's probably in a hurry to get to work. He's probably trying to go as fast as he can. I'm like, I'm sorry I got in your way and whatever. So I just totally ignored it and I let it go. And the dude just stayed. The funny part was he stayed in the slow lane and tailgated me when there was like 3 lanes of place for him to go. And I still maintained my composure. I'm like, I'm not going to get mad and expend energy. I'm like, there's nowhere for me to go. I could drive faster, but my daughter's in the car. I'm like, you know what? If he wants to go around, he's going to go around. And eventually he did. But the point is, I chose how to expend that energy. And I saw that the other person was me. I'm like, I remember being that way. I remember being in a hurry for whatever reason it might be and feeling frustrated. I'm like, I get it, dude. I'm not going to make your life any harder. I'm not going to contribute to whatever's negative in your life right now. I'm going to try to be positive, and I'm going to try to let you go around, whatever. And in the process, my daughter never knew what was happening. I stayed positive and I talked to her the whole time. I chose not to expend my mental energy on that situation.
And we have these little catchphrases that are actually really cute that I've come up with, like, because there is a level of like, I can't believe that you are disrespecting me like that. Like, it's so hard not to feel disrespected when somebody is.
Oh, motherfucker, you got no idea who's in this car. That's that thing where.
But it's like I'm not so big. But it's like the why are you disrespecting me kind of thing. And so I'll say, okay, friend, you can go first. Like I say it out loud because I want my daughter to hear. Or she's like, why is that guy slamming on his horn? And I said, he must be really in a hurry. I will say it out loud because she's listening, she's learning. And in fact, I had somebody freak out on me the other day. We were headed to her little adventure girl class. She's learning in the wilderness. Kind of awesome. She's taking a homesteading little class. She's 5. And so she's going to be whittling sticks into spoons by December.
With a bunch of hippie kids.
Right. So this guy was freaking out, laying on his horn, like waving his hands and all this stuff.
As you're driving the Rover, so it apparently doesn't make a difference.
Right. I was like, whoa. And I am a good driver. And so I was just kind of like, all right, this is obviously... Here's the take home. Are you guys ready for this? It has nothing to do with you. if they treat you that way, they are treating others that way. But most of all, that is a reflection of how they feel about themselves, out of control, losing at life, frustrated, angry.
Now, if you see that the other person is you.
So I stop at the stop sign, or I stop at the stoplight several times. Oh, he was so embarrassed. And I look in my rear view mirror and I'm just looking at him. And he's giving me the, what you looking at? What you looking at? Like he was just an angry human. And I just start praying for him out loud. And Mia was praying for him too. And I was physically sending him a ball of energy and compassion and love. And I will admit, I was feeling angry because I'm like, you're not being nice right now. You're being very, very not nice. But I turned that ego within me into something that was conducive and serving him. And when I pulled away, I didn't keep that anger. I didn't keep that frustration over his behavior. I walked away feeling like the bigger person and feeling like not that I was above him, but that I did something to contribute to his life and his day. It is so much more than a car that pulls out in front of you.
And this applies not just to road rage.
It is a human that's absolutely has to do more with road rage.
This could be at work. I know a lot of people that are listening have day jobs. They have the 8 to 5, the 9 to 5, plus the commute. And you have people that you're surrounded with every single day that may be negative, and they may pour negativity onto you, or they may just have a bad fucking day, or you may be walking, to the store to get something and somebody's just in a bad mood and bumps into you. And it's like, oh, that happens to me all the time. And I'm like, look, you guys look at me. I'm almost 270 pounds right now. I mean, I've been 280, I've been 260. I'm hovering about 270 right now. I'm a big dude. And I've had people bump into me super hard, and I could turn around and say, look, motherfucker, what's your problem? Like the rest of the world. And 9 out of 10 times, like, oh, hey, bro, totally sorry, man. My bad. And not that I'm a puss, but it's that, hey, I don't invite negativity. And it like, I have yet to have, an issue like that where it escalates because, again, we're choosing how we expend our mental energy. And we're segueing into the next one as well.
But really, there's a couple more points that I want to hit on this. The first one is you're not a victim. Remember that you're in control of your own emotional vibration. So if you choose to take personal responsibility for your life and you absolutely refuse to blame people, you will be opened up to a life that you could only dream was possible. Because blaming is really an excuse for not taking control of your life. And the other point, I don't know if you want to touch on that at all. Blame is such a huge thing, and releasing blame and taking responsibility for your life is something that's going to empower you to do more than you ever dreamed possible. I watch things go wrong in Gabe's life all the time. Like, he's sitting here working on the business and, something happens with the website's down, that something's wrong with the shopping cart, like something's going on with our shippers, like all this stuff happens. The man never blames people. He says, what can I do to resolve this? What can I do differently in the future?
I got a great example. So there was a certain person that was working for us recently that I had to release from their duties. And over the course of 8 months they were with us, $120,000 was squandered on ad spend, having programmers do things that they shouldn't be doing, basically chasing what I call a pink dragon that didn't exist. And for a while, I was feeling pretty blameful. And what I ended up realizing was, had I seized control of the situation and taken it by the reins myself when I first saw it happening, it would have never gone that far.
But then you called him your biggest blessing of the year.
Oh, I did.
The other day, we're headed to San Francisco.
I had to look at it that way.
And he's like, this person who will remain nameless because we will never talk crap about other humans. No. You'll never hear that out of our mouths. But he said, this person just opened up my mind. Like, what exactly did you say?
Basically, the way I looked at it was, I was living, or not living, I was treating... Okay, I'm going to rephrase this for the third time.
It's retrograde. Don't worry, darling.
I was being an owner. And an owner of a business is somebody that basically... Oh, there's different terms for this, but I was like, friend, owner. Okay, I'm going to give you another chance. I'm a nice guy. This is what I do. it took me from being an owner to being a true CEO. I said, if this hadn't happened, I would never become the person I am now, because now my eyes are open. I will never, ever, ever let somebody else make decisions for the company that involve the spend of money without ensuring that we get an ROI. So guys, if you love what we do, please understand that the reason that we're able to do what we do is because this is a business and we sell products. Money is a byproduct of the passion that we have. And the story behind Body Spartan, it's full of passion. We made money by chance. I wasn't even trying to make a full-time business out of it. It was just a side project for fun. And it was originally a way for me to pay for the video editing software that I was pirating at the time. I wanted to have it be legitimate. And I enjoyed making videos. I enjoyed inspiring people, and the money was a byproduct. But understand that, we can't continue to have all these people spend their time without being able to pay salaries. We can't have cool videos without certain amounts of video equipment and camera people and audio people. It's a legitimate business.
And we have a vision to reach millions, not hundreds and thousands, millions. And in order to reach the multitude, you must play big. And we refuse to go home without playing big.
And she said it just right. So please don't think that I'm being greedy and saying, I needed to sell this. And when we talk about $120,000, blah, blah, blah. What I'm saying is that I will never let somebody make a decision with the money of this company, because it dictates whether this company breathes or dies. And if you guys love this company, which I know you do, and what we stand for and how much motivation and I care. I really, truly care about every single person that sends a message, that watches our videos. I hope and pray that we inspire you to change your life path. That is my goal. At the end of every single day, I want to have changed one life or saved one life. That is what I'm setting out to do. And if I let the business die because I'm letting somebody else make frivolous decisions with the business's capital, that's on me. And so I learned to be a CEO. I learned to make the tough decisions and say, look, person who remains nameless, you're fired, or you will no longer be working with us, because they were a contractor.
Or we're going to put your services on hold for now.
I wanted her to leave amenably, but I basically said, here's the reason. It's coming out of nowhere to you, it might seem, but this is why, and this is why, and this is why it's gone on too long. I can't afford it. You've made too many bad decisions. See you later. You're out. And I did it again.
And let's move forward and apply this to your everyday life, because this is so valid. We've talked and see that the other person is you. You're respecting all these beliefs. You're walking a mile in someone else's shoes. You're not blaming. You're taking personal responsibility. But you must stand up for yourself and confront people in love. You teach people how to treat you by what you accept, what you allow, and what you empower that other person to do and be around you. You must love and trust yourself above all, because if you do not love and trust yourself, if you do not respect yourself, then you don't have the capacity to love anybody. So you must love yourself first and speak in a loving but firm state. This relationship is not going to work. Actually, I'm not okay with what you just said. I love you, but it's not okay to speak to me that way. I love you, but actually, it really bothers me when you tease me about that. So stand up for yourself. Be proud.
I could think of 30 different ways to say that. That may even be better.
Let's hear them. Say it now.
So, because we go through this all the time.
Yes.
I mean, you guys are getting the real life us
Absolutely.
right now, where it's
and we are peanut butter and jelly. We are different.
Those are trigger points for me. The way you said that, and so here we go, guys. This is like real life. Sitting in front of a psychologist like that. Those are trigger points for me. The way you said those things, because even though you're trying to be polite about it, like I'm still like, dude, that's kind of fucking rude. In my head, in the past, that's how I don't think about it now, because I know that your heart is good. I've always known your heart is good. I know that your intent is good.
But I'd love to know another way to say it.
Something along the lines of, hey, baby, I love you. I have a hard time when you talk to me and you say something like this, because I find that I feel this way and I'm affected by it, and I love you and I want to feel good towards you. And I want to respect you, and I want to give you everything that you need. It's hard for me when that happens.
So did you hear him blame me at all? He almost took me out of the equation because he's showing me grace.
Actually, and without even trying to get that across to everybody out here, I purposely did that because we've conditioned ourselves to not blame the other person. And so this is a skill, guys.
You're always this. You're never this. You did this. Like, that's not a part of our marriage.
Well,
that's actually in our communication guidelines.
I think why it's a trigger point for me is because you would say something like, it's not okay for you to talk to me that way.
I was being very direct, and I certainly wouldn't talk to you that way.
And I know you
different.
wouldn't. But so think about the way that she said that it inflicts
I was thinking
blame.
of the way I talk to our child. Actually,
but I'm thinking of that because you've said that to me before.
I know.
But what I'm getting at is that
there's a crossover between husband training and child training.
Oh, definitely. But with that statement, there is some implied blame. And so
Why do I feel like that's going to be a hashtag?
If you guys listen to the way I said it, I had to think really clearly and I had to think articulately. And as I spoke, I was careful to avoid things like, babe, when you talk to me, it makes me feel this way.
Yes.
Because nobody can make you feel anyway.
When this is said, I feel this way.
We choose how we feel. We choose how we let words, phrases, and people affect us. No one. If you are truly in control of your life and you subscribe to this theory that I subscribe to, Priscilla subscribes to, Howard and Brandon and Cage and my entire fucking team subscribes to, that you are in control of your life. No one can make you feel any way. You are in control of your emotions and you have the ability to harness them. So if you say, you make me feel this way, that's blaming the other person. If you say,
and putting a terrifying amount of power in their hands.
So let's put a spin on that so we can kind of break down how I said that. I said, if I came in love, I said, hey, sweetheart, I love you and I respect you. However, when things are said the way they were said earlier, I feel as though, boom. So instead of you make me feel, I feel like I'm not this, or I'm finding that my feelings are hurt and I'm feeling low and I don't want to feel low. I want to feel positive. I want to feel positive around you. So now I'm building up the other person and I'm saying what I do want instead of what I don't want, which is another key point to living in happiness and peace amongst negativity.
And that's the law of attraction, baby. You get more. Whatever you focus on is going to expand. You're going to get more of that. So if you're directly telling the person what it is that you're wanting instead of what it is that you're not wanting, you're going to empower them to serve you. And
not just the other person, anybody you talk to, anything you say, if you can shift your word track to what you want versus what you don't want. And you do this to me all the time because we still, Priscilla and I go rounds all the time.
We are both type A and so headstrong, and both of us are always right. It's the darndest thing.
Imagine that, in a marriage that nobody's ever wrong. The person,
right? And
I'm never wrong.
He's got bull horns, and I've got a unicorn horn, and it's just like it's all about the angle. But
is that why when you fart, it smells like roses?
I do not do anything like that.
Girls don't fart.
I'm just adorable.
Girls don't fart and girls don't poop. I'm convinced of it.
I'm so glad that you
See
caught
how she
that
changed the
point.
subject?
I'm so glad that you caught that point because I think that what I originally had said could get misconstrued. It is so vital that you select words that are not blaming and choose words that are empowering. The point that I was trying to get across before Gabe swiftly came in there and corrected my word track, which is so correct in what he's saying. It's important that you stand up for yourself. I was raised in a pastor's home where I believe I talked about this on a previous podcast, but we were kind of raised to be a bit subservient.
Yeah.
And just kind of let things happen, to uphold the name of God and to respect, the church and everything. And we would let things happen to our family and to us that weren't right. Like hiring somebody who was an ex-alcoholic. They come and work on our house. They get totally wasted. They're working on the attic. They do a crappy job. We get a leak in the winter and we don't say anything because we're missionaries, for lack of a better phrase.
Yeah.
So I grew up not being able to confront people. And Gabe has taught me over the years to stand up for myself. He's like, if you love yourself and you love other people, you must train them how to treat you. And so that has been a huge work in progress. And I do have to say that I have a way with my words where I can gracefully come in and say, I can tell them what I want from them instead of letting them treat me in a way that shows disrespect.
I fully agree with that. You do have a way, and if it's a skill, it's a learned skill. And again, what Priscilla's talking about, guys and girls, is not to be aggressive with it, but help me out here. I'm a little lost for words.
Season your speech with salt.
Well, because the topic...
Let your words taste as delicious as your heart.
The topic is how to live in peace around negative energy. So I'm trying to think of a way to circle this back to that without...
So seeing that the other person is you, how would you want them to talk to you? Like, what's the golden rule? Treat others as you would have them treat you. So how would you want to be addressed if something that you were doing wasn't right with another person? How would you want them to talk to you?
Yeah, definitely don't. Yeah. Okay. So I see where you were getting
Avoid
at here.
blaming them, but tell them what you need, because you are training people how to treat you. And when you learn to confront in a loving way, you're going to feel empowered, and people are going to treat you the way you want to be treated.
Well, and it's going to cause a paradigm shift, hopefully.
Yes.
And a paradigm shift, guys, just so you know, it's basically one person making a change so that somebody else sees that, and then they make a change, and somebody else sees that, and they, two people see that, and eventually it changes the world slowly. So that's
Stand
what we're
up for
getting
yourself.
at.
Do it in love.
Yeah, and the last thing that we want to talk about, guys, is choose wisely who you spend your time with. We mention this a lot, and we mention it a lot because it's extremely important to success in anything that you do. And I qualify success as living in happiness. I really, they're so related. They are so related.
The goal is how you're going to feel. The end.
I want to feel happy. I
right.
want to feel elated every time for the entire 24 hours.
Emotionally balanced, useful, significant, growing, loved. Like, all of this is positive vibration. And the only reason you have set that goal, remember, it is because of the way that you believe that you will feel in the accomplishment of that thing. So the feeling is the goal. So
Jim Rohn, famous author, Avatar.
XOXO, one of Tony Robbins' mentors.
Yeah. So this is, I want you guys to have an understanding of who we're talking about.
One of our favorite quotes.
You are the cumulative sum of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. So start thinking about who you spend the most time with. Are they people that are negative? Or are they people that are positive? And I really want you to think about this. And I want you to take a moment and visualize who it is that you spend the most time with. Is it your spouse? Your boyfriend? Your girlfriend? People at work, coworkers, family members? Who do you spend the most time with? And now think about their overall state that they are in. Are they consistently negative, or are they consistently positive?
And some of these people, you guys, you cannot get away from them. They're going to be in your life.
Well, you can. You can make choices.
Sometimes they live with you.
Thanks, P.
Well, I'm just saying, maybe you have a cranky child that you're training. Maybe there's a friend that's staying with you. Maybe your spouse is having a difficult time.
We all have
but
choices.
You can choose. Yes, your choice is to bless and bail. Bless and release. So you're going away and you're plugging into your personal development instead of being poisoned and feeling like you have to be around that negativity.
Okay, well, this is kind of two tangents, and what she's okay. My advice is going to be remove the people that are negative from your life, no matter what the cost, and add people that are positive in your life. Add people that are more affluent than you, that are more successful than you, that consistently are in state, as we call it. They are always positive, and they have achieved goals that you want to achieve. They're doing things that you look up to, because that is going to pull you up. Priscilla is, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you're looking at it from a spousal point of view. And you and I have the understanding. Okay. Well, you and I have the full understanding. I think it's very rare these days. We got married in 2002. We've been married for 15 years. We've been together for 20 years. But when we got married, we took vows. And both of us are determined to keep those vows. So if one person has a negative stint, whether it's her or I,
and we have both had them so many times.
yeah, and I've gone, a month
Terrible
or two with
cycles.
them. Yeah, we get caught in cycles and patterns and just negativity. In life, I would say split, but not with your spouse. Although there are some
So
situations.
what about it?
But this is the fine line because it's about happiness and it's about your happiness. And here's what makes me happy. And I'm pretty sure I speak for both of us. When Priscilla and I are both happy, there is nothing that compares to that. My life is incomplete without you. I mean, I'm looking at you. You're the other half of me. We're twin flames. You're the other half of my soul. For you and I to not be together is painful. So painful that I feel like my heart is being ripped out of my chest. And I know you feel the same way.
Which is why I'm like,
don't cry.
sitting
Oh, you
here.
are kind of crying.
Well, I
It's so
feel the
powerful.
vibration of that.
It's so
I feel
powerful.
Obviously, the same exact way.
And it's because we choose to pull this other person up and we uphold that vow that we took. It may not apply to everyone. And this is where I say you have choices. Everybody has a choice. You could have left me years ago. I could have left you years ago. We can definitely pinpoint very specific times in our lives when, I thought you were just out of your mind and you thought I was out of my mind and there was no fixing it. But
and the truth is, we're both out of our minds.
Oh yeah,
and that's why
got
it works.
screws. We got screws loose everywhere, dude. So, but out of your mind, meaning that they are in a state that is not fixable, that is so negative it drags the other person down. And every day, I know some of you can relate to this. You don't even want to be in the same space. You got a negative energy in your house. You wake up and there's this animosity towards the other person.
A toxicity. That's just putrid.
It
You can
is.
smell it on the walls, in the curtains.
You can smell it. You can taste it. But
like you hear the other person's feet hit the floor, and you're like, "Oh no, Satan's awake."
I'm laughing
Quick,
because I've been there, and I know that
get the arsenic and let's put it in his coffee.
I've been that person. I've been that dick that's
Same
been
here.
so mad all the time and just toxic. But what we chose to, and again, you have choices. Do you choose to stay with your spouse? That's up to you. I'm not promoting divorce, but I'm not saying that if not everything can be fixed.
You just might need to be the one to change. There have been so many times where I'm like, this is not working out. What do I do? And God ended up giving Gabe a new wife. And that new wife was me. Over and over and over.
Well, was either that or because I handcuffed you to the bed and wouldn't let you leave the house?
He says, when we were dating, he'd say, we're not breaking up. Breaking up is practice for divorce. And so he kind of programmed me that way for 5 years. Then after we got married, the honeymoon phase is over. And he says another little catchphrase that he has, divorce is not an option.
Oh, yeah. Well, we took some fucking vows.
And I mean, he's like so serious about these phrases. And I love them because he says them over and over. Divorce is not an option. And
don't think that, I don't want you guys to think that I'm like chaining her down and lock her in a cage like you can't go anywhere.
It did feel very repressive. And it made me feel angry because I'm very headstrong. But at the same time, it made me feel so loved and so supported. And like, you sit here and you stay up and you argue with me all night because we are not going to sleep like this. Like, it's like determined love.
Like we have to resolve
and like
it.
A standard of living. Like our set point is you wear that ring and I wear this ring and this crap is forever.
That's basically it.
That's and we go off the deep end sometimes, but at the we always figure it out.
And this is a total tangent from where I wanted to go with this bullet point.
Yeah,
but I think
what just happened? We just derailed.
I think we didn't derail. I think it's very important for people to understand that we have choices to make. And if you're in a negative situation that you don't feel can be fixed and it's going to affect your happiness for the rest of your life, you're going to be in a toxic relationship, get the fuck out.
And it might be...
Or choose, like we do, and choose to fix it. And it's become the best thing that's ever happened to us. This does not apply, though, to the people that are consistently dragging you down that are not your spouse. that are
How about
coworkers.
family, though?
How have we limited family? We limit family very much so. Very much so. We moved away. 10 years we were gone. And when we came back, we set some ground rules pretty hard. There was some definite, I mean, it was a year of setting ground rules and reconditioning because this is how I had been raised around. And like for my parents to change their habits was very difficult. And there's still things that everybody's working on.
Well,
We're still
and
trying
my
to
family's had to grow so much too.
very much so.
Like but Gabe and I are like those irritating kids that like, why won't you just do what you're told? And we're like, I don't know, I don't do what I'm told.
Can't you guys just get a normal job and a normal life and have a 401k and an IRA and then just, you know,
I paid all this money for you to go
60.
to college and you're wrestling in your underwear on television. Like, I don't understand. Like,
my parents love that though.
and
They love
my
the
dad's
fact that
like, you're modeling in a bikini on an international magazine when I sent you to Bible college. Like, what's happening? Like, I don't understand. And we went against the flow, and that's been hard for our parents. And so we've had to tell them, you know, this is our standard for living. This is what we're doing. Support us, or we're going to move away again.
Well, I mean, it's support us or we won't spend time with you. And we've said that numerous times. Like, this is my choice. This is how we live. This is our goals. And if you can't be a part of it, then we're going to limit our time.
And understand, we are in a massive generational
and we've said
gap.
that to both families, just to be clear. Like, we're not afraid to say it because it's how important it is to us.
And we've had challenges on both sides. Probably our biggest challenge emotionally has been both sets of families. And that's okay because we've worked through it and we've grown through it and we've set standards for living. But the biggest thing is that there is a generational gap and we forget about that. You are not the same as your parents and your children are not going to be the same as you are. Our parents grew up in a textbook age. And we have grown up in the informational age. Our parents were programmed differently than us. And we're in the generation that is being deprogrammed and awakened. And we see things differently than them. Not saying that they're wrong. We have a different vision. We have a different mission. We have a different purpose. We work at home. Women are active in the workforce. It is just different.
Well, it's the digital information age. We have access to massive amounts of information at our fingertips, at our phones, at our laptops,
and
at
our
desktops.
child has quadruple the amount that we ever had.
The world is more connected than it has ever been. So information and knowledge is passed very quickly, but it can go both ways.
So respect that generational gap between you and your parents. Respect the generational gap between you and your kids.
I want to circle back to the 5 people that you spend the most time with, and just I want to give you guys some life examples, and I want to paint you a picture of how I have experienced this, because it only really made sense to me a couple of years ago. And I want you guys to understand that our path as entrepreneurs and our path with the passion to change lives is fairly new. I mean, I retired from WWE in 2012. So 5 years I've been out, almost 6. And you hear your parents say stuff like garbage in, garbage out, or you are who you hang out with.
Memorized.
All this crap. But it's true.
Bad company corrupts good morals.
That's what I'm looking for.
That's
Bad
the one
company.
My dad always used to say. I'm like, what does that mean?
I know.
You're
when
so
I was a
annoying.
kid, I'm like,
I'm 14.
I don't know what the fuck that means.
I just want to find someone who's got cigarettes. Leave me alone. Or maybe a beer.
Bad
we'll
company
split it.
corrupts good morals. Like, I had no idea what that meant. And your parents are thinking about your well-being, but I'm telling you guys, this is about your future, and this is about leveling up, achievement unlocked. And here's my story. When I was a kid and I was in high school, I hung out with thugs. I hung out with, I don't want to say thugs. I mean, we're little white kids that went to, Sebastopol,
Did you
California.
spray paint stuff?
There's no such thing as thugs. We did have some gang problems.
Did you guys have color? Purple? Was purple your gang color?
It's not like we were hardcore ghetto kids or anything.
Did you guys have a gang sign?
Well, you know what's funny is that the people I hung out with ended up being in a rap group, and they ended up going on to touring Europe. What was the name? It was Triple Deep was the name of the band or something, the group. It turned to be like a boy band. And it's funny, like I watched the videos, they were like the next In Sync. Like they toured all of Europe and they were coming back to state and the band broke up. I don't remember what happened. But anyway, the point is, we were raised in a weird area of California where there's just a lot of gang activity, and it's not like Compton gang activity, but there's a lot of
It's like
weird,
high class Napa Valley, Sonoma County kind of gang activity.
It's like the
They
rich
do it
kid
with
gang
wine.
stuff.
They're like, I'm gonna smack you over
But-
the head with a wine bottle.
I could have hung out with a different group, but these were the people that accepted me because I was this little dorky guy in high school, and they accepted me. And I found camaraderie in that, but they were thugs. And the things that I did, like I never stole a thing in my life until one day I was like, they're like, dude, we need a microphone, because they were starting this group. And I was 16. And I remember I walked into a radio
Were you
shack
the
with
AJ?
them. No, I wasn't part of the band.
But were you there, AJ?
No, I wasn't part of the band.
That's disappointing.
And you're referring to AJ from the Backstreet Boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was not.
I'm just trying to
As
get a
much
visual
as,
here.
As much as I wanted to be AJ at one point, because he was like the bad boy in the Backstreet Boys.
You were the micro thief.
He was so cool. I walked into a Radio Shack with my friend Eric, and I remember Lawrence was sitting outside, and we planned it out. We just like walked in there, and he distracted the guy at the counter. I popped the microphone in my coat pocket. We walked out. It was like $100 microphone. For me, being 16, $100 was a lot of money.
What kind
And
of coat were you
I
wearing
was
that they didn't notice?
I honestly don't remember. I can't
Was it
remember
a
for the life-
CK1, a white CK1 jacket?
No, it was not a white CK. That didn't come for like 3 years
With
later.
matching white jeans.
I was a Calvin
white
Klein
shoes.
whore for a while. Yes, but I was 18 or 19 when that happened.
And you always smelled so good.
It's because I wore CK.
CK1.
Yeah, that's exactly. So the point is, I walked out of there and I was the hero. And they went on to make their stuff. And what did it get me? Nowhere. And the things that I did after
You
that.
didn't get royalties
I mean,
or anything?
let me
Man,
tell-
you
there
stole a
was
mic.
There was this one time where I was dating this girl, and the girl's sister, her boyfriend had pushed down the sister's kid and like abused the kid in a weird, like not really abused him, but like pushed him down, was rough with him. And she's like, you got to handle this. So what do? We broke into this guy's house and beat the shit out of him. And I called these thug guys I knew. And the reason I knew him because I hung out with these other guys and we broke up. We beat him up. We're like, don't you ever touch this fucking kid again? And blah, blah. I took off running. And they're like, dude, I'm like, dude, if I gotten caught for that shit, I'd be in jail for felony. Like, I was with the wrong group. I was the cumulative sum of those 5 people I was hanging around. They were the wrong fucking people. Dude, we've all made mistakes. And I'm not proud of this by any means. These are like the 2 worst things I've done in my life. I hate it. I hate talking about it, but I think it needs to be known.
He wanted to go back and like pay for the microphone when we moved back into town. He's like, I got to settle the score. I got to make it
It's
right.
haunted me for years.
And guess what?
It's never.
The Radio Shack is closed.
I actually went back to do it.
He went back to do it.
I
The place
went
is
back.
closed. He's like, no.
It was 5
The
years ago.
nightmare continues.
It was 5 years ago. It was after Body Spartan took off. I remember going down there and I was like, there's probably a different owner, but I don't care. I'm just going to set the record straight. And it had closed down. And it was probably because of me,
Because
because
he
I stole the
microphone.
microphone. But, in college, I decided to hang out with the kids that barely scraped by in class because they were the cool kids, blah, blah, blah. And I didn't understand some of the material. I have a degree in civil engineering, guys. And
You didn't like your class of
I
Dynamax?
majored in structural engineering. I majored in hydrology and I have a minor in structural engineering.
Remember that teacher though? Dynamax?
Oh yeah, dynamics. There was a class called it was a lot.
So much fun.
The point is, the guys that I hung out with were just scraping by. Nobody really understood. I wasn't with the smart kids that were the ones that were doing all the work. Instead, I hung out with the guys that, we stayed up, we drank, and we did homework. I'm like, that's not the right way to. And what happened? I got C's. So I know C's are, that'll get me graduated. So I got C's. After that, when I was in WWE, I hung out with a bunch of guys that were bitter. Like, why aren't they using me? Oh, this guy fucking sucks. And then we sit around and we talk shit about everybody because that's what everybody did. So we would hang out in the bleachers.
Because
and watch.
that's what people do that don't feel good about themselves.
It's true. And I didn't feel good about myself because I wasn't being used the way I thought I should be used. I thought I was a lot better than I probably was. And we were bitter and I had a bitter
you're pretty
experience
good.
there. I mean, I thought I'm decent.
You're awesome.
Had I been a more positive person at the time, I think things would have been different. You just call me Tyler Rex.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? I was looking through your phone to do something the other day, and I called you because I was trying to find your phone. I found your phone, and it comes up as Tyler Rex. You still have me in there?
What?
Yeah.
No, I don't.
It does.
That's so random.
Yeah,
Retrograde.
I don't know,
No,
but
I
I
keep it in there.
I
It's
thought
my
it was
secret
funny.
fantasy of
I
you and
love
your
you.
undies.
So I
For
hung out with
millions
people
of
that
people.
were bitter, and it was only recently that I decided to hang out with people that have positive attitudes. And I remember a long time ago when we started Exclusive Fitness. It was our first real business. Actually, Priscilla started it, and she met this guy. His name was Richard Spalding.
Long story short.
Dick Spalding was his name. Fantastic guy. And he said, no room for bad rent.
I love that phrase.
He was the first person that elevated us because we chose to spend time with him. And he was the first person that cut a deal with us and said, hey, look, I've got all this extra gym equipment. If I need a place to put it, if you guys want to rent a building, I'll put it there. So as long as I can work out at your facility at any time I want, if I get a key.
He got the ball rolling.
He did. Because we chose to expend our time and energy with somebody that was more affluent than us and more successful. That was step one. After that, we started being around people that were, we live in the Napa Valley. We have friends that are affluent that own wineries, so we would spend more time with them.
But just because they're affluent doesn't mean they have a good. Some affluent people are the most insecure people.
They can be assholes.
And if you don't have a single person that lifts you up, you know who my best buddies are? Jim Rohn, Tony Robbins, Fish and Macchiani.
Yo, motherfucker,
Tuft.
I'm sitting right here. Oh, you said my name as I was calling you out.
Yeah, ew, rude. They don't have to be actual human beings. You may be sent here to serve, and you may need to spend most of your time with the spirit, meditating, calming down, listening to audiobooks, listening to podcasts. If you're surrounded by negativity, cut it off. You're in control. If you're listening to this now, you have a way to listen to podcasts, and you can lift yourself up by putting information in that is going to grow you into the person that you ultimately want to become.
Well, I think it is important that you surround yourself with positive people. So we're talking about 5 people. I mean, everybody talks to somebody.
It's true.
So pick the people. And then when I'm saying we started hanging out with affluent people, Priscilla's right. They're not just affluent. They're successful. They're positive. They were truly our friends. We just had not spent time with them before, and we chose to spend more time with them because we liked their goals. We liked their energy. We enjoyed being around their presence, and we didn't ask anything of them, and they never asked anything of us.
But we give to them.
We drove our little Ford Fusion up to this really nice winery, and like they accepted us for who we are, and we accepted them for who they were, and we just had a great time. But it showed me that there is some really positive energy, and there's good things about being around people that are more successful because it creates a drive in you. You see things like, I want that.
And I guess the point that I was trying to hit on is like there's no excuse not to be around people that are going to pull you up. And if the only thing that you have, because the reason I said that is because I homeschool Mia. I don't have a lot of time for people outside of Mia.
We made time. So and this is where I'm getting
That's
at.
true.
It's like if
That
you
is
don't
true.
have time to be around people that are positive, do what we did. Go to fucking seminars.
Yes.
How many Tony Robbins seminars have you been to? You've been to 2, right? You've been to
just
UPW.
2, but also Brennan Burchard.
Yeah, you've been. So
I want to go to so many more.
Business Mastery with Priscilla in January of this year in West Palm Beach. We paid for it. We saved. We paid. If you guys don't have the money, fucking charge it if you have to. Make it a part of your business decision.
So worth it.
I mean,
go to one of our seminars.
You want to be around positive people for 4 days straight. Room full. There were 1,000 people there. Not a single person was negative. And we made so many friends, so many contacts. We're still in touch with these people today.
Absolutely.
Today, we still talk to these people. And they all have goals. They all have aspirations that are very similar to ours. Maybe not in fitness, but they all want to be happy. And they are all entrepreneurs. They all have goals and dreams. And they are all elevated. So those are the kind of people that you want to connect with. Save your money. Go to one of these seminars. Figure out a fucking way. There is always a way. If you got to do a business investment, go to one of these fucking seminars, guys. I'm telling you, it will change your life. So that is how you find happiness in a world full of negativity. Separate yourself, guys. Use these tips that we have presented to you. And if you're feeling like your happiness revolves around your physique, we're here for you guys. Because some of it does. It's self-confidence. You may look in the mirror and you may say, I'm feeling negative about myself because I don't like the way I look. I'm not confident about the way I look. And I feel like people are judging me for the way I look. We're here for you. Guys, hit us up on live chat. Shoot us a message. Shoot us a DM. Tell us how you're feeling. We're here for you. And if you really want to dive in and make the change, go check out the Genesis program. I'm not trying to plug a product just to plug it. I'm trying to tell you guys, this has changed thousands of lives. And a lot of it starts with fitness. And this is why I'm so fucking passionate about fitness, guys. I'm so fucking passionate about it because it unlocks your mind and shows you tangible milestones that you have crushed. Things you thought you could never do. You thought you were stuck, but you're not. Because we're there holding your hand the whole way, and we're showing you how to unlock your true potential. And when you figure out how to do that, when you see what you are truly capable of, your world is going to change. You're going to start looking in the mirror and you start going, I like what I see. You're going to have more confidence. And that confidence is going to allow you to let negativity bounce off of you from everywhere else is coming. You're going to spread joy. And I hope you don't think that I'm being superficial by saying that your appearance is what matters, because it really doesn't. But for a lot of people, self-confidence stems from their appearance. You can make a change. You just have to decide. And we are here for you guys. That's why I created the Genesis program. That's why I created Body Spartan. That's why we poured so much time and effort into this fucking program. If you want to start, if you want to make that change today, we have a 30-day trial of the Genesis program. It's bodyspartan.com/Genesis-shredding-program. Take a chance, see what we have to offer. If it's not for you, just cancel it. But it's 30 days free. And it's not an ongoing subscription. It's 2 payments after that. I'm trying to make it as easy as it is for everybody on their pocketbook. Take a moment, check it out. Thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of people have downloaded this and changed their lives, changed their life path. This could be you. Your change could start today. Make a decision. We'll see you next time.
For more free information on fitness, nutrition, and bodybuilding, visit us at www.bodyspartan.com.
Indestructible, undeniable. I'm a man with a plan, understand.